Elizabeth here at Petals and Parchment. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'd like to show you my newest kit, which is available in my Ko-fi shop for members. It's called the Secret Society of Sentiment Keepers. Before we get started, I'd like to show you a flip through. Take a look. What do you think of the new kit? I think it's pretty special. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the idea and where it came from. So this kit was sort of my answer to Thanksgiving this year. I was having some quiet reflections about Thanksgiving and sort of feeling this sense of how traditions shift over time. I wanted to create something that honors the past, but also embraces new ways of connecting. I created this secret society, a place where we can gather, preserve what matters, reflect with intention, and celebrate the beauty of remembering. I've started creating with my kit, and this is the traveler's notebook that I've created so far. I think it's super cute. I have a hidden elastic spine, and I've got a Velcro closure. And then I've begun collaging on the inside covers some things that were very special to me in my childhood. For instance, The Wizard of Oz and Winnie the Pooh were very special stories to me when I was a child. And so I created this cute little collage back here in this pocket, and I had a happy accident cutting out a square, so I framed this beautiful art piece with Jesus Christ in it. So that is really beautiful. And then I printed all of the journal pages and backed them with various backing papers from the kit, and I really like how it's turning out so far. So before I show you how to make this, I thought we could also talk about the jars. The jars were actually what I started with for this kit. I'm going to set this aside. Okay, so here are a few of the jars from the kit, and this was actually the basis that I started with for the entire kit as a way to put things somewhere, because even though I'm super passionate about creating journals, I don't really like to write in them myself. I love to create them for other people to write in, but there are some things still on my heart that I need to get out once in a while, and so that's where the idea for these jars came from. So this is the worry jar, and I've actually created a bit of a little gusset on the side, as you can see, so this will create a little bit more room inside the jar so that I can stuff a few more worries in there. And then you can simply close it with a little tiny Velcro dot here, and it will keep all of your worries in place. And then there's a little card that tells you how you can keep your worry jar tidy. And there was a couple different ways that I thought, so I did just put a little Velcro dot there to keep it closed, and you just write your worries down and stick them inside and forget about them. If you'd like to, once your worry jar is full, you can take a moment to look at them and revisit your old burdens and discard any that have sort of lessened for you. But you can also create an entirely new jar and rip or shred this one, crunch it up in a ball, throw it in a fire, whatever you feel is the most cathartic for you. So to make a gusset, it's pretty simple. You just take a strip of paper and zigzag fold it back and forth. So I found some strips of paper here, and I'll show you how I made the gussets, and then I'll show you a few other ideas I had for constructing the jars. It's helpful to me to have a scoreboard so that I can see where to make the folds, but if you don't have a scoreboard, you can just fold it back and forth. I'm just making a few lines across the paper, and then I'm just folding it on the lines to establish them, and then you can fold it zigzag once you have the lines established. Okay, so now we have a zigzag, and then you just glue one side to each side of the jar. Let me show you. You can just take a bead of glue all the way around the outside and simply stick the pieces inside, or you can use the gusset, which will give you a little bit more room, and I recommend doing that. So all all I did was line it up with the edge here. Let me do the bottom first. You can also flip it back and forth as you're folding so that you have the zigzag pattern again. And this one will go on the bottom here. My husband and daughter are playing a game right now and having a lot of fun. If you can hear them, they're being silly. I'm going to get my scoreboard out of the way here, and then I'm just going to place each gusset as close to the edge as I can. And you can always use clips to secure it while you make your way around. Okay, so I'll switch this to this side, and now what I'm going to do is flip it over and cut off any excess that's hanging out on the sides here. And up here at the top is where most of it is hanging off, so I'm just going to snip there and right here. All right, so here's where we're at so far, and then we're just going to put a bead of glue along each strip of paper, and then we're going to place the other jar on top of all of the strips and try to tuck them in and press down to get everything to stick. Hopefully I got that straight. Looks pretty good. I do have this little piece that's peeking out, so just gonna clean that up and be careful not to stretch it too much while it's still wet, but you do kind of want to go in and make sure that the gussets aren't sticking to each other, and that looks pretty good. Here's one more area where I didn't quite cut it all the way. I just wanted to show you all of the jars in the kit have things you put into them, but this jar you reach in and take something out when you need something. So this is the God jar, and this has scripture for things that are troubling you, and there's a key in the kit, so depending on which color you're feeling at the time, you pull one out and then go look up that scripture and be comforted by that. Now I'm going to show you one more, and this is the shadow jar, and this is a jar where you can put all of your pain and agony, and I've given a couple different kinds of journal cards for the shadow jar. There's some skulls on this one, and then I also did some tags as well, and so I just printed each of these, and I wanted to show you something pretty neat. This is the same backing paper on both pieces, and this is a draft copy, so I changed the setting to use the least amount of ink, and then this is one setting up from the least called draft vivid, and then these are high quality prints. So I just wanted to encourage you to play with your printer settings and use draft when you want a much lighter print so that you can still journal on top of it. So this is a little bit darker. You could write on it with a white gel pen, or you could put a little journaling card on top of it, a scrap piece of paper, so that you could journal. But I just wanted to show you to encourage you to play with your printer settings. I'm going to get these cut out and then I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my pieces cut out, and you can actually turn this into a hidden journaling card. I've inked around the edges of my pieces with scorched timber distress oxide. Now I'm just gonna go around the entire outside edge of one of the pieces and keep the bead of glue pretty thin and try to stay as close to the edge as you can. Then you just glue the two halves together. Make sure all the edges are stuck down, and that looks pretty good. I'm just gonna go around a few more spots where it looks like it needs a little bit of ink. Okay, perfect. And then you're just gonna pick a spot somewhere on the top portion here. So I'm not sure if I want to go across here or up here where the cork is. I think I'm going to do just under the rim. There's like a faux glass rim here, so I think I'll go under that and just cut it completely across like so. And then you're gonna gently open your top here, and we're going to glue our journaling card into the lid. So just put a dot of glue up here and a dot of glue back here like so, and then you can simply slide the card in and have a place to store things that haunt you. All right, let me show you something else. I also printed some of the bonus pages, 9 to a page. So now I have these really cool journaling cards that will fit inside my little journal here. And I know I said I don't like to journal, but I do like to write lists and things, so this will be helpful for me to do like a brain dump. And also I was thinking about collaging on this and just like sort of getting some emotion out of me so that I can process it and move forward. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. And the reason that I decided to do an elastic binding style is so that these pages are removable and then I can reuse this cover. And so anyways, I printed these 9 to a sheet so that I have a bunch of different ones and they all fit comfortably inside my journal if I decide to glue them inside. So I just wanted to show you that you do not have to print everything full size. You do not have to print everything in a kit. You can play with the color settings so that you get lighter or darker prints. Use your printer to your advantage so that you get the results that you want. I think it's so fun that a single printable can be used in so many different ways. This is such a cute little journaling card size. So I'm really excited to show you that. And let me show you how to put together the journal itself. Okay, so I've gotten a cover here. I just picked another one. Oops, I missed some white here. Let me cut that off. My printer was giving me those dreaded faint lines, so I just had to clean the print head. So you can kind of see some lines in the background, but I don't actually mind it. I think it looks kind of cool. So this was not included in the original kit. This was part of the week 1 bonus pages. I want to make sure to give a full variety of cover choices just so that whoever's getting the kit can really personalize it. So I've included many different cover choices and I'm not even sure if I'm done yet. I might give a few more before the month is out, but it was important to me to give a lot of choice in this kit because it's so deeply personal. So what I'm doing is I'm just following the lines that were created down the center of the Traveler's Notebook cover. And then I'm also going to score this line while I'm here, just to help me bend that. I think I went a little too far and ripped it, but what I did with my other one, I was gifted some single-sided laminate, which I thought was pretty neat. I've never used it before. The inside of this is not laminated. You don't have to have a heat machine or anything, a laminator. This letter size self-adhesive sheets is what I used to do a single-sided laminate. So that's how I got this. I figured if I throw it in my purse, then I need it to be a little bit sturdier. But you of course don't need to do that. You could actually send it through a laminator if you'd like to, and it would be laminated on both sides. I would recommend if you want to do any decorating to do that beforehand, but try to keep it relatively flat if you're going to laminate it. And you can actually take it to your sewing machine after you've laminated it and do like a cool gold stitching or something. White stitching would look really awesome on this particular cover. So I'm just going to fold both of those score lines that I got here, and you'll see it gives us the tiniest spine. So I was able to use the tiniest grommets I have, eyelets, grommets. I'm not sure which is which, but let me show you how I did that. I'm using these tiny Stampin' Up! Eyelets. I picked these up secondhand. Then I'm just going to use the tiniest hole punch on my Crocodile and try to stay as close to the bottom as I can to accommodate the paper so that it doesn't buckle, and then a second one right above it on each side. So that's what I have so far on this side. Just stay right on the spine. I actually learned this from Four Girls Stole My Heart, a very talented journal maker. This binding technique she taught me, and she's actually where I got my inker, in case anyone's wondering. She 3D prints them. They're called Hubby's Love Handles, and I love mine. Okay, so then we just simply insert each grommet and make sure that you have the base facing the correct way. These are super tricky for someone with bumbly fingers like myself. And there we go. I'm just gonna do these other 4. I'll be right back. Okay, super cute. Check it out. 4 little grommets at the top and bottom. So then now to do the binding, I've grabbed some elastic cord. This is 1mm elastic cord. Just leave it for now on the spool, and then you'll stick it through the inside to the outside, and then back in, then out, go out and come right back in. So as you can see, there's just a little bit of cord showing between the two grommets on each side. Then you can cut your cord because you know how much you need, and I'll put this out of the way. And then you can just pull them evenly from both sides so that your knot ends up in the middle, or you could pull it further so that it ends up down here at the bottom, so you could do some dangles if you'd like. And then I'm just going to tie a knot in this, and then you've got 2 signatures. You don't want to pull too tight because it will pull your journal, but you want it as tight as you can get it without pulling, I'd say. Pardon my bumble fingers. Alright, that pulled a little bit, but I think I can stretch it a little. And look, you can even move it afterwards if you change your mind and put them at the bottom. I actually think I like that on this particular one. And then if you wanted to do the single-sided laminate, you'll just do that before you put the grommets in. Cut the grommets afterwards. And then also, I like to do a second fold about 1/4 of an inch out from the first one, and then that gives you the sort of spine size over here as well. Then you just use some Velcro dots and you're good to start cutting and adding papers to it. And the last time I accidentally put the clear one on the wrong side, so now I'm aware of that. This one's a little more see-through and this one is sort of white in color, so good to know. And there is your cover and an opportunity to decorate a dangle if you'd like, and a reusable traveler's notebook cover. I hope this kit gives you endless inspiration. I imagine I'll be releasing many add-on kits to it in the future. It seems like something I want to continue with. I hope you all like this kit as much as I do, and please show me what you make in the Facebook group. I would love to see your creativity shine. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a great crafty day. Until next time, bye!